Hey guys, what's up? It's Eric with Advanced Level Automotive. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is actually going to be an excerpt from a video that I did previously a few months ago about rebuilding an engine, specifically about tearing down an engine and inspecting it. Now, in case you guys didn't watch the video, in the video toward the end, which is like half an hour into the video, I show you guys how to use a bore dial gauge. And I've had a few people bring this up to me. They tell me that that part of the video should actually be a video in of itself, specifically for people who are looking to learn how to use a bore dial gauge. I thought they brought up a pretty good point. Maybe that lesson should be in a video all by itself. So I basically am just going to cut that part of the video and post it here for you guys and for anyone who's looking to learn how to use a bore dial gauge to measure a cylinder bore diameter. Anyways, I hope you guys stick around for the video and enjoy. All right guys, so now that we have a bare block, we can now continue to the next step, which is measuring the cylinder bore diameter. When we measure the cylinder bore diameter, we're looking for three different things. We're looking for taper, we're looking for out of round, and we're looking for oversize. These three factors are going to dictate whether or not we need to send this block to the machine shop to get the cylinders overbored. Overboring the cylinders are going to require us to use an oversized piston. Let me explain this in a little more detail. Alright guys, so just to give you a better visual of what it is we're looking for when we're measuring the cylinder bore, again, we're looking for three different things. We're looking for taper, we're looking for out of round, and we're looking for oversize. I went ahead and drew this up on a piece of paper just to make it easier to understand. But if you look here, we're looking at a side view of the cylinder bore, and over here we're looking at top views of the cylinder bore. Okay, so first off, when we're talking about taper, we're talking about a taper along the cylinder bore walls. So what that means is that it is possible that over time the cylinder walls can wear in a way that some parts of the cylinder walls are actually larger than others. So let's say you could have a larger bore at the top than at the bottom, and that's just because the way the cylinder wall has worn over time. So that's one of the important things that we need to check. The cylinder must be perfectly straight. If there's a taper on the cylinder walls, then we're going to need to have the machine shop overbore the cylinder. Next up is out of round. Again, we're looking at this from the top view, and what we mean by out of round is that it is possible that the hole or the bore is no longer a perfect circle the way it needs to be. It should be a perfect round circle. So when we measure the cylinder bore, we should find the same measurement all the way around. If we find that the hole has become oblong or oval, then this is going to need to be sent to the machine shop so they can overbore the cylinder. Okay, next up is oversize, and by oversize what we mean is that the cylinder bore itself has become larger than the specified diameter. If the cylinder bore becomes too large, then there's going to be too much clearance between the piston and the cylinder wall. Too much of a gap between the piston and the cylinder wall can cause an excessive gap in the piston ring. Excessive gap in the piston ring can lead to compression issues, can also lead to excessive oil consumption. So if we have an oversized cylinder, we're going to need to send this to the machine shop. It's going to have to be overbored, which means we're going to have to use an oversized piston. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So let me show you how we're going to do it. Okay, so over here we have a bore dial gauge, and this is simply a dial gauge that we are going to use to put down into the cylinder bore so that we can measure it. And essentially, in order to use this tool, we're going to pick the right size that we need, and then we're going to set the tool. We're going to zero it out. I'll show you how to do that in a second. First, let me show you what we're going to measure. All right guys, so moving over to this illustration, I just want to show you where we're going to be taking our measurements. So if you look over here, you'll see the top view of the cylinder, and then over here you'll see the side view of the cylinder bore. Now there's a lot of different measurements that we can take, but mainly what we want to do is we want to compare what we call the thrust side of the cylinder wall versus the non-thrust side. And what I mean by that is the thrust side of the cylinder wall is going to be the part of the cylinder wall that gets most of the wear. And the reason for that is because as the piston is rotating on the crankshaft, it naturally digs into the vertical part of the cylinder wall, not so much the horizontal part. So what happens over time is that you'll have more wear on the thrust side of the cylinder wall than you will the non-thrust side of the cylinder wall. So we need to take our measurements here and here so that we can compare the two. Now when we do our measurements, we're also going to be taking our measurements in three different places along the cylinder wall. So we're going to start here at the top, and we're going to do our two measurements, and then we're going to move somewhere toward the center where we're going to do our measurements again, and then we're going to move toward the bottom. Now we don't want to go too far down into the cylinder bore because this is the area that the piston does not travel in. So we don't really want to take any measurements here We just want to kind of take 3 different measurements in the area that the piston does travel. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, guys, so just to reiterate on what I mean by thrust side of the cylinder wall, I found this illustration online and it does a pretty good job of explaining what I mean. So as you see, as the crankshaft is rotating, the piston is naturally going to be pushing up against the side of the cylinder wall that's on axis with the crankshaft. And you'll see as it's coming up, it's pushing more on this side, and when it's coming down, it's pushing on this side. So hopefully that visual makes sense. Now let's move on. All right, guys, so moving over to the computer, I've got the engine specifications pulled up here. And the first thing we're going to look at is the cylinder bore diameter. I've got it highlighted right here. And if you follow it over, you'll see that the specification is somewhere between 3.779 inches and 3.78 inches. So what we're going to want to do is set our measurement tool somewhere between this specification here. Now the measuring tool that we're using today is going to be these digital calipers. I've already got this zeroed out and I have made sure that it's properly calibrated. One of the things that you can do if you're not sure if your calibration is on is take a feeler gauge. Right here I have a 30 thousandths feeler gauge. You see here we've got a 30 thousandths feeler gauge. I'm going to go ahead and use the calipers to measure this feeler gauge. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my feeler gauge in the caliper here, and I've got it clamped down. So as you can see, we're spot on as far as the calibration goes. We're looking at 30 thousandths of an inch. So let's go ahead and set this to the cylinder bore diameter. Alright, so as you can see, I've got this thing set to 3.7795, which is within the specification. And what we're going to use this tool for is to zero out the bore dial gauge. Now this bore dial gauge has a bottom needle right here that we've already pre-assembled. We've chosen the correct length for the needle, and we're simply going to stick it in between here, and we're going to rock it back and forth, and we're going to zero out the needle. I'll show you how to do that in a second. But one quick important note about this bore dial gauge is that it reads in increments of thousands. So if you see 0 and you'll see 5 right here, 5 means 5 thousandths, 10 means 10 thousandths, the 15 means 15 thousandths, and so on and so forth. All right, guys, so moving over to the workbench over here, I've got the digital calipers on the vise. As you can see, we have it set to the bore size. So we're going to use that to zero out this bore dial gauge. Let me show you how we're going to do that. We're going to stick this part of it in between here, and we're going to rock it back and forth. When we rock it back and forth, we're going to be watching the needle on this gauge right here. And what we're going to try to do is get the smallest point to be the 0. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to take this bottom part, we're going to stick it in the calipers. Now we're going to rock it back and forth. Pay attention to the gauge. I'm rocking it back and forth. As you can see where the lowest point is, we're going to try to move the 0 to that lowest point, which is right about there. Let me move the gauge over. Spin this dial here. Now let me try to rock it back and forth again. As you can see, the lowest point is the 0. We are now set. Okay, so before doing any measurements, you need to make sure that you wipe down the cylinder walls nice and clean. You can use something like brake clean or carb clean to make sure we don't have any residue on the cylinder walls. These cylinder walls, I've already gone through and cleaned them up. They look pretty good. Again, we don't have any gashes or any deep scratches, so hopefully the measurements check out. All right, so we're going to start with the first cylinder on this side. I'm going to go ahead and stick the bore dial gauge in here. Like I said, we're going to measure at the top, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to rock it back and forth like this. And what we're looking for is the lowest point on this gauge. So we take a look at the gauge. You can see I'm rocking it back and forth. And we're right around the 0. At the lowest point, you can see where that's at. Now I'm going to go down a little bit further into the bore, somewhere in the center. Let's do the same thing. You can see where the measurement is. Now let's go a little bit further down. So as far as taper going this way, it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and flip this vertically this way. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. Now we're going to measure the top of the cylinder. I'm rocking it back and forth. As you can see, the lowest point is a little bit right above the 0. So let's go a little bit further down into the bore. Let's go a little further down. and we're still really close to the 0, and that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and check the rest of the cylinders. All right, so moving on to the next cylinder, we're going to do the same thing horizontally. We're going to measure it up at the top of the cylinder bore. Let's rock it back and forth. As you can see, its lowest point is right about there, a little bit below the 0. Let's move it a little bit down to the center of the bore. Rock it back and forth. So you can see its lowest point right about there. Let's move further down, rock it back and forth, and you can see its lowest point right about there. Let's go ahead and measure it vertically. We are at the top of the cylinder. Let's rock it back and forth. So you can see its lowest point is right around the 0 or a little bit below it. Let's go a little bit further down. A little bit further down into the bore. Let's rock it back and forth. It's looking about the same. Let's go a little bit further down into the cylinder. Rock it back and forth. And it's looking about the same. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the rest of the cylinders. Alright guys, so after doing our cylinder bore measurements, we found that we were pretty much within a thousandth of an inch. So I don't think we need to go oversized. Everything looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and send the block off to the machine shop. We're going to have them clean and inspect it, double check my measurements, and then we're also going to have them install the cam bearings, which is something that I don't like doing. It's a real pain in the butt, so I'm just going to let them handle that part. Anyways guys, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully you found it informational. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button. If you enjoy the channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, you can always comment down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks.